What's poppin' people, SSJAipom here with episode 31 of the Super Attack Analysis series. If you're just now joining us or recently stumbled across the channel, this series is to help you guys find ways to link into or use iconic super attacks or mentor skills in combat. If we miss any information or you have any practical tips, be sure to hook us up in the comment section below. As always, we'll be using the female Saiyan Poeton for testing purposes. Her stats aren't at all padded for damage in these tests, but as you know by now, she's pegged for the thickness. We're checking out Cooler's mentor skills in this videos, and they are Feint Crash, Shadow Crusher, Supernova Cooler, and Fake Blast. Let's see if these free DLC skills are worth the wait back when they dropped, like, I don't know, 2 months ago. Feint Crash is a strike super that warps you within range of your target before letting off an attack. Pressing the attack again will let you warp a second time to go for an alternative strike. The single warp version of the attack will restand a down helpless target, and the double warp version performs a launch-styled knockback, so you have two different ways to use it pretty much. To be fair, the skill is decently hard to land outside of a stamina break, but I'm pretty sure you can get like the regular version off after a heavy knockdown to get the restand property. For all intents and purposes though, you can use it as like a dodge to pop in on an enemy who's like using an ultimate or something, or to like stall out a wait time while you're like stamina broken if you are able to stand back up and your opponent isn't like beating away at you with like a crazy loop or something. So you also don't have to like immediately use the advanced mechanic to go for the second teleport. So if you do want to mess with the timing to kind of throw your opponent off with an actual like feint like the attack suggests, that's a thing. I'm not too sure if you can cancel this one out with like other ultimates or supers like step cancel, anything like that. I don't think I actually got to try it out yet, but from like my early tests with it, I'm pretty sure you can't do much along those veins. Maybe after the first strike lands, you can probably do a step cancel, I would imagine, come to think of it. I'm trying to like liken it to something like Whis' finishing blow, but even then it's kind of a reach. This is, for all intents and purposes, something that can be used as a little teleport, much like Feint Shot, but it's like the strike version. This is probably a good option if you want something like this on a character who can't use like Shining Slash like the Saiyans or the humans, but it's something that you guys might want to look at in terms of like a trickster build or something like that, you know. There are definitely going to be options that give you a bit more of leeway or like mobility. Like I would say After Image Strike is another good move you can look at like instead of this one. That kind of just moves you around and gives you that mobility so you can go into other supers instead of just something like this, but it's definitely something you can check out. Shadow Crusher is a very simple Ki Blast counter attack. If you're hit by a Ki Blast Super, or Ki Blast Ultimate while using it, your character pretty much rushes ahead and smacks your opponent in the face in retaliation. The biggest detail of this skill comes in the form of stamina breaking your opponent's character if they were using an ultimate attack. So if you use this thing and get hit by an ultimate attack and your opponent is still doing like the active frames of it, sort of like the, say it's a Kamehameha and they're still in the Kamehameha pose, or like they're doing something like the Whis special ultimate attack, and then you just use this thing, your character actually kind of flies forward and punches them in the nose and stamina breaks them for you to get the punish off. It's really neat actually. If you hit someone who is not using an ultimate attack though, it won't do a stamina break and it will instead actually do a pretty hefty knockback to knock them away. So you probably won't be able to follow up with much combos, but it's still something that happens. This one looks really cool, but the usage for stamina breaking an opponent using an ultimate pretty much relies on the enemy either randomly throwing out ultimate attacks like a Hail Mary or something. Like there are people who kind of panic and just kind of try to throw out a Kamehameha when you're like not stamina broken. So you can probably try it against someone like that, or if it's someone who kind of goofs up their stamina break combo punish and they think they can just like throw one out at you, but like it's like I don't know what you're doing here, Papa. You kind of, you know. So if you want to use it like that, it's definitely a thing that you can go for. It's a really neat punish, and you don't see it happen much, you know. You don't see something like this happen because usually you get stamina broken and you're dead by then, but hey, it's something that can happen. Alternatively though, if you would like to use it to punish regular Ki Blast, it's also an option, but it costs a bar of Ki to kind of just land a punch that knocks someone far away, so maybe you don't want to do that. It's all up to preference though. Counter attacks aren't really my forte. I'm not really a big fan of them, but if you do tend to have good timing or like good, you know, perception of when moves are going to hit you, by all means go for this one. Supernova Cooler is a fast charging Ki Blast ultimate that covers a lot of space and has some pretty loose tracking applied to it, I'm pretty sure. It's like disgustingly useful in PvE, like expert quests and the raids and all that, just because of how much space it takes up. And I recommend it extremely high on my list of recommendations for Ki Blast characters. It does cost about 5 bars of Ki, but this thing is so simple to use and covers so much space, it's like you kind of have to use it. Like it's really good. For sure, if you're gonna like use it on a character theme or something like that, if you know, if like a destroyer type vibe like Beerus or something like that, by all means go for something like this. This is really cool. But Cooler himself can even like rush in after you throw this thing and then continue to beat his opponent down after it blows up. Like, it's really good. So I just imagine the type of things you could do with your custom created character. And if you haven't tried it out yet, like throwing this thing and then rushing in while it's blowing up and just waiting for the knockback to just follow up like a dash attack, something like that, I'm telling you, go for it. You'll feel like an absolute badass. It looks crazy. It's beastly. On contact, it does shred your target for a while before exploding, and you can use it for like the little hit confirm tricks or glitches that you want to use. It's definitely something to try out. It's pretty good, guys. This is definitely one of my favorites to use in PvE when I have to grind like TP medals from the Vegeta expert mission, something like that, just because it's so straightforward, so straight to the point. It's very, very big. It covers a lot of distance, and the guard pressure on it's good too, so if your opponent even tries to block it, it's like you might get shredded here. It's definitely almost a must-have for all PvE content along the lines of raids or expert missions. If you're going to be a key blaster from afar, just so you can be safe and still have a pretty decent chance of hitting your opponent, because it does fire pretty quickly after the little initial get out of my sight that your character says. Cooler goes, I'll destroy this entire planet, and all that. But it's really nice, guys. It's really cool. Fake Blast is a very straightforward close range evasive skill that blinds your target on contact. Your target can actually snap vanish if they have stamina when blinded, but as a last ditch effort, it's pretty good for catching them off guard when you're both low on stamina, or like as a panic button if you feel like you can go for a stamina break after you get it off, you know, something like that. Blinding in general isn't like a new concept or like a new tactic in the game. In fact, it's been around since part 1, but being able to mess up your opponent's vision up, like especially as say a counterattack, is really nice. It's a really cool thing, and you have to be up close to do this though for that kind of detail, but this is not something new for like the blinding skills, you know. If they had a far range blinding skill, that'd be kind of crazy. Come to think of it, it'd be kind of nice. But this move is pretty much like Dust Attack from if you've played as Piccolo. He has Dust Attack on one of his presets where you can actually shoot something in your opponent's eyes to kind of mess up their vision for a little bit. So it's like that, but as a counterattack. If you play against the Cooler AI, he pretty much uses this thing to be a dickhead and like mess up your combos for sure in the PvE mission, but it's really good in terms of like messing up your opponent's like momentum and all that. Out of nowhere though, they'll probably try to panic and snap vanish out of like 10 times out of 10 you'll get like a panic vanish eventually if they have enough stamina for it, just because it's like they don't want to be blinded too much. And if they don't vanish, by all means you can take advantage, do a grab, do a stamina break, charge up an attack, something like that, you know. So you can be strategic with it. There were like some unavoidable combos, and I'm pretty sure there's still people trying to abuse this thing for unavoidable combos in the current state of the game. I'm not surprised by anything, guys. Xenoverse is just it's its own world right now, you know. So you're living in the slums when you play this game, man. Your biggest issues with something like this would probably be when you're like trying to use it to evade a move from a distance, like a beam or something, because you don't move. Your character's going to be sitting there getting shredded up by whatever's touching you. Or if your opponent is hitting you with like an ultimate attack or a super attack from far away, and it's like, I kind of wish I could do something about this. Like, you know, you're still kind of sitting there. The iframes would protect you from the majority of the move, I'd imagine, but the later part would probably hit you still. It probably wouldn't help you out of something like Dragon Fist either. But that's like its own can of beans too. So it's like, you know, it's something you got to work with. Adapting is all part of winning the game, though, I guess. So if you're gonna use this thing, kind of just mess with that momentum your opponent's building up, and by any means, you know, this is like playing dirty. I'd imagine using this thing for like a character who's playing like really dirty, or like, you know, in that like vein of thinking. With all that out of the way though, the only thing left to do is to test his skills out against Cooler himself. Cooler's mentor skills are somewhat scattered on his preset, so we didn't get to see him use Feint Crash, but his damage in the form that we fight for the test is ridiculous. Sorry if I sound a bit dead or like exhausted, because I'm recording this at like literally 6 a.m, but I had to get something out for you guys because that's my duty as a content creator. I gotta do this for you guys. And I'm sorry there's no Adventures from Aipom episode for today. I gotta manage my time a bit better and record a couple of static scenes for like future episodes. Like I want to get like an outro and an intro done, just to give it a more anime-ish, like, you know, produced series feel. So if we do end up doing that, I'll probably just have those drop at some point during the week if we can, or just like get ready to drop like episode 2 and 3 at the same time, or like during the same week, just to give you guys like content, you know, because I'm kind of messing up. But if you haven't though, check out the other videos we have on the channel. We have skill breakdowns much like this one for other mentors, combo references and notations for all playable custom races and cast characters, extensive stamina rate combo videos, and general tips to bring you guys above average in terms of skill level. Xenoverse is pretty much the majority of the channel, but that is going to change in the future. But fret not, because if you guys still want tutorials and all that, everything that is currently available to you right now will be available to you in the future. There's over, I want to say, 350 Xenoverse related videos, so if you guys really do want content, we probably have everything in terms of playing legitimately, like building up your skills like on a personal level, available to you. So you probably won't find much memes or OP combos here, but you'll find out how to be like a respectable player, I'd imagine. But you can expect to see Frieza's mentor skills in the very next video. His iconic skills will probably be done on a later date. But I gotta ask you guys, is there a mentor or iconic character skills you personally want me to cover? Let me know in the comment section below. If we already covered a character, then I'll just link you to that if you ask for them. But that's gonna be it from me though, and I hope to see you all in the very next video. Enjoy the twerking from Poton and take care of yourselves.